What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Scarlet Karibo. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to have you back here on the channel. Today, we are going over the burn deck for GOAT format. So, GOAT format came out. It's 2005 cards in back, which is really important. So all these are old school classic cards, and it's the burn strategy. So we're going to be stalling out your opponent and burning them with cards like Desk Koala, Wave Motion Cannon, and Solar Flare Dragon. So let's hop right into the deck list. Let's see exactly what we got. And we're going to start with 3 copies of Inferno. So Inferno is a really special card. You can special summon it by banishing a fire monster in your graveyard, and we have quite a few fire monsters. And his special ability, when you attack a monster and destroy it by battle, you're going to burn your opponent for 1500 damage. That's a lot of fucking damage, let me tell you. Inferno's really good. We're going to use it as a 3 of, if anything, just because it's something that we can put onto the board as a special summon. We're going to use 2 copies of Solar Flare Dragon. This is going to be our search target. Solar Flare Dragon is a very important card to special summon. Why? Every turn, it burns another 500 damage to your opponent. With these 2 cards alone, just one of each, you're burning your opponent for 2000 damage. That's really good. You're going to be getting both these off multiple times during the game. Moving forward, we're going to use 3 copies of UFO Turtle. So this is going to be the fire core of the deck. UFO Turtle is our recruiter. When he's destroyed by battle, he's going to special summon out our Solar Flare Dragon, or another copy of himself. That's going to ensure that we always have fire monsters for Inferno to get special summoned. So they're all going to be really good to use in tandem with each other. Moving forward, we're going to use 3 copies of Desk Koala. So this is a burn deck. It's really hot, but there's not all fire monsters in this deck because Desk Koala is really important. He's our flip effect. You set him face down. Your opponent thinks it's what, like a man-eater bug, a morphing jar. They're going to swing into it. First things first with their first attack. They're going to burn 400 life points for every card in their hand. So if they normal summon a monster and swing into your set face down Desk Koala, they're burning another 2000 damage. So we've already burned 4000 damage just by using 1 copy of each of these cards. That's unbelievable. To get some more kind of staples into the mix, we use 1 Mask of Darkness, 1 copy of Sangan, 1 Amazoness Swordswoman, and a copy of Cyberjar. So these are all going to be staples. Mask of Darkness in place of Magician of Faith, you could use either, but this gets us some really powerful trap cards back, so it's really a helpful card. Sangan searches out a lot of things. Amazoness Swordswoman, your opponent takes the battle damage for this card. Really good. You can swing into like a Blue Eyes, bam, 1500 damage. And Cyberjar special summons out all your monsters. This deck doesn't really have a lot of strong monsters, so Cyberjar's effect is going to be good. 3 copies, and this is the best card. Wave Motion Cannon. Wave Motion Cannon is a terrifying card, especially in GOAT format. What it does is while it's on the field, it gains a counter during every of your standby phases, I believe. And for every counter it has, you can burn your opponent for 1000 damage. So 1000 damage doesn't seem like a lot, but when you have this card out for only 8 turns, you win the game. Added in with all the other burn cards that you're going to be using, Wave Motion Cannon is kind of like your win condition of this deck. And using 1, 2, or even 3 copies of it, if you have 3 copies on your field, that's 3000 damage after just 1 turn. It's unbelievably powerful card. So we're going to be using Wave Motion Cannon at 3, as well as Dark Snake Syndrome at 2. This card is another tricky one. It's also a really funny card for GOAT format. Your first standby phase, your opponent's going to be burned for 200 life points. So are you. Both of you are going to get hurt. Then the next time it's 400. And then the next time it's 600. And every time you just keep getting more and more damage on there. So it's going to be a good way to stack some damage. If you get this early game, the game is yours. Very powerful spell cards. Speaking of powerful spell cards, we're going to be using 1 Graceful Charity and 1 Pot of Greed. Draw power is really important in the deck. For some more staples, I like to use 1 Card Destruction, as well as Fissure, Smashing Ground, and Mystical Space Typhoon. This is going to be some spot removal, gets rid of back row, gets rid of your monsters. This is going to be really helpful in drawing out your cards. What you'll notice with the burn strategy is a lot of the cards are kind of one and done. They don't really extend into much, so you really want some draw power in the deck. Swords of Revealing Light also aids in benefiting that. You want to stall out your opponent as much as possible. And for a GOAT format deck, that's all the spells. It's very few spell cards. And the reason is because we like to play a lot of traps. First things first, 3 copies of Ojama Trio. I was shocked to find out that this is in GOAT format, but came out in the first set of GX, and Ojama Trio is a really powerful card. Puts 3 tokens on your opponent's board, and anytime one of them gets destroyed, your opponent takes 300 for each. So you can think of each of these as 900 damage, and it stops your opponent from summoning a bunch of monsters. Moving forward on the traps, we're going to use 1 copy of Mirror Force, 1 copy of Sakuretsu Armor, and 2 copies of Raigeki Break. So, Raigeki Break, very, very good card for spot removal. You can destroy basically anything. Mirror Force is obviously the god card of the format, and Sakuretsu Armor is just baby Mirror Force. So, that's going to be it for the primary trap cards, but here are the really, really important ones. 2 copies of Just Desserts. This is going to burn your opponent for 500 damage for every monster on the field. Very, very tricky card. As well as Ceasefire, kind of does the same thing. These cards are really powerful when used in tandem with the Ojama Trio. Ojama Trio puts 3 cards out on the field. Just Desserts is going to make your opponent burn for another 500 damage for each of them. Very, very powerful. As well as Magic Cylinder. This card wins games, but not quite as many as Ring of Destruction. This is probably one of the hottest cards in the game. Ring of Destruction is unbelievable. You can just get rid of one of your opponent's best monsters, like a BLS, and then you can burn them for 3,000 damage or however many attack points it has. So, this card is going to win you games. It's really, really powerful. So, same thing with Magic Cylinder, honestly. This card is also going to win you games. But we're not done there, because if you use Ojama Trio with your Just Desserts and Ceasefire combo, bam, you're already burning a lot more damage than you would have already. So that's another win condition that we kind of have in this deck. Another one would be Wave Motion Cannon. Wave Motion Cannon is going to zap your opponent. Zap cannon your opponent for 3,000, 5,000 attack. You have no idea how much this is going to build up to, because you just have to wait until your opponent hopes they get their Mystical Space Typhoon or their Heavy Storm. That's all 2 of in a 40-card deck. And there isn't really too much drawing in GO format. So, other than them getting lucky and popping your Wave Motion Cannon, you also have all of these other very powerful back row cards that are going to help you win the game, burn your opponent out. What do you guys think? This is the first month of summer, so I wanted to make sure that we had a fire deck getting ready for the warmer weather. Tell me what you think about the burn deck. Have you guys ever played GOAT format before? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Drink some water. Go outside, touch some grass. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.